Good day, good day, good day, everyone. Welcome to Morning Sip with Red Melissa. I am Red Melissa, and it's wonderful to be with you today. SIP stands for Spirit in Practice, where we practice because practice makes progress. Yes, it does. So I hope everyone is having a good day. Welcome to the weekend. Happy Friday. It's good to see you, Bonnie Love. Yes, the sun is shining here in New York, and I am feeling good. So let's get into it. We have been talking about a spiritual perspective, and what has guided this series is our series from last week about anesthesia from a spiritual perspective. And so today we are wrapping up our spiritual perspective series that we have been exploring through parables. And I shared a parable yesterday of, I'm looking for the name of it, the mirror and the dust. Excuse me, the mirror and the dust. And the day before that, we talked about the parable of the empty boat. So we're going to wrap it up today with another parable, Linda. And it's called the parable of the blind men and the elephant. So these are all Taoist parables. So please feel free to look them up. Parable of the empty boat, the parable of the mirror and the dust, if you want more than a sip. So let me share with you all that we're looking at these parables from the lens of perspective. And we've been talking about the nuances of perception and perspective, right? Perception is a taking in, the way you take in something, the way you grasp something. And perspective is looking at something closely, right? It relates to the way you see it and you interpret it. And we know that we can change the way we see things. We can change our interpretation of things if we're willing to release our position, right? If we're really willing to let go. So it really is an invitation to practice looking at life, things that happen from a higher perspective and through the lens of our spiritual eyes. So that's the question we can ask ourselves. Am I looking at this through the lens of love? Am I looking at this through the lens of peace, of harmony, of joy? Am I looking at this through the lens of my quality that I made a commitment to embody and more fully expressing and experiencing this year? So let us look at stuff from a higher spiritual perspective. And we get to practice by using our quality. So here is the parable of the blind men and the elephant. 6 blind men were asked to describe an elephant, an animal they had never encountered before. Each touched a different part of the creature. The first touched the side and said, "An elephant is like a sturdy wall." The second touched the tusk and said, "No, it is sharp and smooth like a spear." The third touched the trunk and said, "You are both wrong. It is like a giant snake." The fourth touched the leg He said, it is entirely like a tree trunk. The fifth touched the ear. He said, it is exactly like a wide fan. And the sixth touched the tail and said, it is nothing more than a frayed rope. The men began to argue furiously, each insisting that they possess the absolute truth, completely blind to the fact that each held only one small piece of a much larger puzzle. Here is the lesson. Our individual perspective is limited. Conflict arises when we mistake our personal fraction of the truth for the whole reality. Now, who has not done that? We cannot see the whole picture. We only have a fraction of the picture. Even when things happen and someone is telling you, this is what happened, you still don't have the full picture. You only have the fraction of what this person is sharing with you. We could look at that and apply it to the whole world, right? We only have a fraction of what is happening in the world. And yet, we have a tendency to apply it to everything. To everything. And so this parable, the parable of the blind men and the elephant, is teaching us to not jump to confusion and instead to take a step back, to slow things down. And we get to see a fuller picture through the lens of love. Through the lens of love. I'm always going to go back to love. Always. So we only have a fraction, even when we think we know it all. We don't know it all. The only thing that knows it all is God, spirit, source, creative intelligence, whatever you want to call it, has the full picture because it created the full picture. So I trust that. I trust that which has the full picture about my life. Because even as I'm living my life from moment to moment, I only have a fraction of it. I only have a fraction of it. And most of the time, we can see clearly when we step back. There has been some space between what has occurred, how we are processing it, the lessons we have learned, the good that came out of it, that we can see it more broadly, more expansively. Each of us has that example, multiple examples in our lives. Something happens. We believe it means this. It is the worst thing ever. Our heart is broken. We are disappointed. We lose a job, a friendship, a ring. We lose something. But we still only are experiencing a fraction of it. And then sometimes we apply that thing, whatever it is, the conclusion that we came to, that this is just the way that it is. But that is not the truth with a capital T. It's not the truth. I'll give you an example from my life. and I'm sure I've shared this before, the biggest heartbreak that I ever experienced in my life, engaged to get married, right? Find out information about this person that completely breaks my heart. I cancel the engagement. We break up. We're not getting married. And I think I will never find love again. I will never trust anyone ever again. Right? That was the whole picture for me. I could see my life. I could see my life. I'm not going to be in, I'm not going to get married. I'm not going to extend my heart out to anyone ever again. I'm going to protect myself because it's not safe out there in the world for for a girl who really wants love. It ain't safe out there, right? That's the conclusion that I came to at the time, because I was only seeing it through this little speck based on this blip in my life. It was a blip. Now, at the time, did I feel like it was a blip? No, I felt like it was everything. I felt like it was the whole universe, but it was only a blip. And it taught me so much. And I got that by shifting my perspective about love, about relationships, and about who I am in relationships, how I show up in relationships, and what I thought I could receive from love relationships. I thought that I could receive worthiness from relationships with men. And so I kept looking for men to make me feel worthy about myself. And it was only through that last relationship where I was believing that, unknowingly I was believing that I was able to start my healing journey. My healing journey with my father, that was the core of feeling unworthy. So I'm playing out a dynamic with men that was really about my dynamic as a child, as a little girl with my father. That's seeing things from a spiritual perspective. That all of these relationships, as painful as they were really supporting me to getting to a place where I could heal a core relationship, that I could heal a core belief about myself, that I was unworthy. I was blind, just like those men were blind to the elephant because they only were touching a fraction of it. I was blind to my worthiness, the wholeness of my worthiness. I was blind to it because I was only touching a fraction of my life, of my experience of love. It's a shift. It's a healing. It's a forgiving. It's a releasing that we get to gift ourselves when we not just not just not just shift our perspective. It's so much more than that, because in the shifting of the perspective there is I'm looking for the word. I'm looking for the word. There is a relationship with yourself and your perspective about yourself that shifts. So, yes, there was a shift in how I regarded that relationship, how I regarded my relationship with men. But the real shift, the healing shift, was how I regarded myself, my perspective about myself. So, what is your spiritual perspective about who you are? Do you have a spiritual perspective that you are worthy, that you are lovable, that you are safe, that you are not out here in the world all by yourself, making it happen? It's all on you. Is that your perspective? And then we can look around in our lives through the lens of a fuller picture, still not the whole picture, but a fuller picture, and see how that perspective, that limiting perspective of I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, I'm not safe, I'm out here making it all on my own, I have to do everything, I'm responsible for everything and everyone. Shifting that perspective, because that is not the full picture. So we get to take that journey with each other because we need each other. I needed my ex-fiance. I needed him. In the moment, I was like, I don't need this. I don't need you. I don't need any of this. But I needed him. When I shift my perspective, I could see how I needed him. I needed that relationship so that I could see myself more fully. I could see myself through the lens of love. Because I could say to myself and believe it and know it that I am love itself. And therefore, I am worthy just as I am. I don't have to earn it. I don't have to beg for it. I am it. And there is so much freedom in that, y'all. Oh my goodness. So did it happen like that? No, it did not. Was it painful? Yes, it was. It was very painful. And I learned so much about myself, and I learned how to show up differently as my fuller self in relationships. And I'm still learning, still evolving, still expanding who I am in relationship with now my husband of 24 years. So it's ever evolving, right? You touch the leg, you get one perspective. You touch the trunk of the elephant, you get another perspective. You touch the tail, you get another perspective. But it's not until you take it all in that you can see what it truly is. It's your life, all of it. It's not fragmented. All of it matters. All right, y'all. So I love parables, and y'all can see why I do. So let me check in with y'all, and then we'll get into some joy news. Good day, good day, good day. Ron, it's good to see you. Let's see if I could move up a little. Okay. Good day, Fee. It's good to see you. Fee said, we experienced this when watching Disclosure Day. Fee, do not get me started on Disclosure Day again. Y'all know I did a whole series on Disclosure Day. I love that movie. So yes, I never heard this story before. Thank you for your, yeah. Thank you, Fee. Thank you. for me, transparency is important because I'm desiring that someone could see themselves in it and be gentle and kind with themselves about whatever it may have been for them. The timing of this talk, I was thinking about this very topic this morning while on my 4.09 walk, and how I will articulate this information to my niece. Wow, profound. Oh, Fee, I'm so happy for that. Good day, Ron. It's good to see you. And Fee is also sharing, yes, yes, yes. One's relationship is the most important and valuable relationship we have in this lifetime. I resonate with much of this topic. I believe if we're honest with ourselves, we all can see pieces of ourselves, if not the whole, in this talk. Yes, we need each other. Yes, we need relationships in order to see ourselves. That requires a lot of courage and willingness to open your eyes to actually see you and your part. Come on now. Yes, we have to see our part in it. Even though that past relationship, some people could say it was wicked, that he was wicked. Some people could say that. I don't say that. But my fingerprints was all in that relationship as well, right? So I have to own my part in it. And he gets to own his part in it. And we're great friends to this very day. And we've talked about this. And I thanked him for all of it, because it led me down a path of healing. So I'm grateful. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Sekou. Yeah, I like this parable as well. And not just because it's an elephant. You'll know how I love elephants. Yes, yes. Thank you, Fee. Thank you. I'm glad you could see yourself in it as well. All right, everyone. Just a couple of things in Joy News. So this weekend at Rockland CSL, we are wrapping up our play month. And we played well for July. And so now we're going to celebrate life on Sunday. Join us for our virtual service. We are virtual this Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Zoom. You can join us by going to rocklandcsl.org for the Zoom link. And we also will be streaming on Facebook. Also, mark your calendar for the next meditation with the full moon, July 28th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Join me for a guided full meditation with the energy of this beautiful July full moon, also known as the buck moon. So that is on the 28th. So on the 28th, there is no 10:30 sip. So join me the 28th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right where you're watching me now. Peace and blessings, everybody. Have a wonderful today. Have a wonderful weekend. Know that I love you. Peace and justice. We are living life in joy, connected to our yes.